everybody, Captain Dave Schneider. It's a Guide's Life. That's right, 2 days in a row coming to you. Actually, this time, I'm no longer in Northern Michigan. I don't know if you're starting to feel the tremor in the force that's coming, but that's me getting closer and closer to the state of Florida. Right now, we're bagging her in for the night here. We're going to get some sleep. The couple things I want to talk to you about. First of all, special shout out to John Hendrick. John, you and I are going fishing. Possibly as early as next weekend if that fits into your time. But John Hendrick is a guide that works out of some of the northern lakes up in the Orlando area and just south of the Orlando area. Heck of a fisherman, sends me stuff all the time, showing me all the success he's having. He's fishing places. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to say where he's fishing because I don't know if he even wants me to do that. So, but he's a good guide, really a character. I think if you spend time with John, you're going to have a good time. But I'm shouting you out tonight, John. I appreciate everything that you've been doing for me, buddy. And you and I are going to get together. We're going to shoot a show and get all your contact information out there for you so you can keep growing that guide business that you got going. Now, having said that, I also want to shout out my nephew Chris Parsons and my nephew Joe Jenny. These guys are pounding out some soft plastics for me. Chris has started a company called Silverback Outdoors, and his soft plastics line is called Chasing Tail. And we're actually going to do a show here in the next few days. I sent him some questions. I wanted to just kind of get all the backside information, the inside information that guys deal with when it comes time to, well, how much is it going to cost me to make baits? How much waste? What are the problems going to be? Can anybody help me take care of the problems and straighten out the curve before I ever go through it, that kind of thing. So we're working on that video for you as well. But I do want to give you a little bit of a lake report. Now this one, yesterday I kind of gave you a general pattern talking about fishing reed heads or specifically bulrushes, especially if you get some hyacinths around them. Not huge patches, just scattered patches. There's beds around those things. And you know, when the weather's not quite right, those bass are up underneath those hyacinths. When they're not underneath those hyacinths, really slow-moving baits, topwater baits on the outside, 10, 15, 20 feet away from those places can get you a fish that you're going to appreciate a great deal. So talk to you about that. Now, today I'm going to talk to you about the bite that's going on up above, well, all the way from observation. When you go out of Uncle Joe's and make the left and go up the lake, be careful. God only knows that's where I lost my boat. But you know, if you're running up in that direction, you know, just make sure you're stopping out away from cover. If you're stopping up in the grass at this point, you're probably going to scuff your bottom of your motor for sure, and what have you. Be prepared mentally to get on your trolling motor and trolling motor yourself out of those areas as you're fishing. But this is what I want to talk to you about. There are fish in these areas. Now, I'm talking about a big geographic area. I'm talking about from observation all the way to Cochran's, and then from Cochran's all the way to the fourth pole, man. We call it the poles. There's wooden poles out there that are called the shoal area. And the fish can be on the outside the Kissimmee grass and outside the bulrush and sometimes even cattails, swimming worms, rattle traps, oh my gosh, jerk baits, any of that. You know, all that stuff is good. Covering water. If you hit a fish, God almighty, guys, this time of year, if you catch a fish in a spot, throw in there again and again and again. Throw it 3 more times at least, because you may have found a nice little group of fish. And if you just hit one and keep moving, you might be making a big mistake because this time of year they're getting into pretty good groups. Now, here's the deal. I like a swimming worm right now in those areas. I like a Senko. Swimming worm is something I can use just like a spinner bait. I can swim it along high in the water column, low in the water column, cover the water the way I can mix it up, you know, kind of, it's a search bait, right? If I feel like I'm into the fish, I'm going to go over to a Senko, and anybody who knows me, or, you know, I'm also going to throw an Ica. A big fat Ica, and Ica just looks like a tube bait is what it is, and I hook that thing without any weight on it. I usually fish a spinning rod. I got Fitzgerald made me some nice 7.5 foot spinning rods, and I got nice heavy reels on them things, and I can pull fish out of the heaviest cover. I put 30-pound braid on those rigs, and it goes really, it works good. Now, here's the deal. You fish along those areas, work your way inside. You know, if you go a little ways, don't get a bite on the outside, work your way in. Just work your way through the Kissimmee grass, pitching in the holes, work your way through the cattails and stuff like that until it opens up. It always opens up behind the heavy outside cover. It opens up a little bit. That's where you're going to find those patches. Start fishing the patches. Work your way around. The key thing is you're going to catch a fish at some point, and you're going to need to know where that was, because that's going to help you to establish a pattern where you're going to spend more time fishing those areas of cover. In other words, if you got right to the inside of the outside grass line and boom, 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 you catch 2 or 3 fish, well, now you can probably get parallel to the inside grass lines and fish that thing 150 yards in either direction and feel like you're probably doing the right thing. So this is what I'm saying to you. Spinnerbait, rattle trap, swimming worm, working it slow. I like a horny toad frog. I like a hollow-bodied frog, like a spro frog as well. If I've got cleaner water, open water, I love a devil's horse or a boyoutee, or even there's one called a skitter shad or something like that. It's got it's only about this big, but it's got 2 props on it. I like that little bait as well. And of course you can pitch and flip. By all means, pitch and flip, that stuff. But work the areas, get a bite, fish it some more. Key thing, though, and this is what I'm going to leave you with on this thing. Now, I'm giving you an area of about a mile, and probably more like 4 or 5 miles actually. But you just keep working it in, working it out, work it in. You work in a ways. If you're not getting any bites at all, go all the way back in as far as you can. Sometimes that's where they are. Work your way back out. The whole time you're doing that, keep note of how hard the bottom is. If you get into a real hard bottom area, buckle up, because there's going to be beds in those areas. These fish spawn in these areas every year, and this is happening. It's happening right now. All right? All right? So I'm giving you a little bit more to work with. Captain Dave Schneider. Dude, you guys. So I get up this morning. I wake up, 105.9? I woke up this morning to see my nephew or my grandsons off to school and whatnot, and we were leaving Sheboygan, or West Branch actually, and I had a fever of 105.9. I couldn't see straight, and
just on the baby thermometer.
Yeah, at least on the baby thermometer. It was anyway. So I got to the hospital, and they jumped into action there, and I don't know. I slept in that hospital for several hours. Still got a little bit of a fever. It's not the flu. They tested me out. They assured me that I'm not going to poison the state of Florida. When I come back. So if you were planning on giving me a big kiss when you see me, you might want to hold off on that till we get that proverbial lip fungus identified. That's a blast out from Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation. Thank you, Cousin Eddie. All right, Captain Dave Schneider. It's a guy's life. It's a great life. Guys, we're building a fire. I just can't wait to get back in Florida here and see everybody. Anything you want to add? You want to add anything?
No.
She got nothing. It must have been perfect tonight.
Nothing.
All right. Good night, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh, hey. I got some products coming from some of my sponsors, and I'm going to be giving some of that stuff away. Ooh, so be paying attention. We'll see you later.